The Blackhawks are in Montreal for the NHL debut of Artyom Demidov. We're going to preview the game next and hear from Blackhawks prospect Ryan Greene, who's also making his NHL debut tonight. Join us next for the CHGO Blackhawks Pregame Show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code CHGO365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. And you would think Game 80 for a non-playoff team would be pretty meaningless.
Game 81.
81, thank you. I'm good at math. Not the case. It's a big one tonight in Montreal for several reasons. We're going to get to all of them coming up in a moment. Do us a favor and hit that like button for us on the YouTube page. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube page as well. And why don't you send a link over to a friend who's a Hawks fan right now so they can join us during the show. That'd be a lot of fun. The big news, Artyom Demidov debuting for Montreal.
Yep.
And Ryan Greene debuting for the Blackhawks after BU is eliminated, or they lost the championship.
Technically eliminated.
Yes, technically eliminated. Joined the Hawks right away and centering the third line.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's exciting to finally see him make his debut. He's been a guy that has been, I'd say, a little bit under the radar as far as prospects go, but getting thrown right into it, two games in 2 days. But cool for him. I know not Quebec, but a native of Newfoundland, getting to make his debut against the Canadiens. That's pretty cool. So excited to see what he does.
Well, let's hear what Anders Sorenson had to say after the morning skate today, and then we'll share the full lineup after he speaks. This is courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Then on D, couldn't tell.
Krebs, hometown boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so he'll be with Murphy.
He'll be with Murphy. Murphy's on the left. Yeah.
And then I saw the forward lines, but I couldn't figure out the centers. Could you tell
Got
me
a lot
what
of
the
them.
centers are? Yeah.
Well, Greener's center in the line with Foligno and Moore.
Yeah.
And then Veleno's center in the line with Reichel and Slaggert. And then the other two lines stay the same.
So is Donato?
Donato's up with Bedard, yeah.
But Bedard's at center still? Or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
What have you, is Donato on the left?
Donato's left, yeah. Mickey's right.
Okay. What do you know about Ryan Greene and what he brings?
Reliable, good skater. You know, I think he killed a lot of penalties for BU with power play, but really good skater and really reliable defensively. A guy that probably errs on the side of defensive side more than anything.
What do you see when you have so many of these young guys making their debut or getting another chance at the NHL? Like, what does that do for you as a coach as well?
Well, I mean, it's about them, right? Just go enjoy it. It's your first game. We try not to give them too much information. They got to trust their instincts and go play, and then we'll adjust a little bit as we go. But we give them the framework of our structure, but got to trust yourself and go play hockey, right? So I think it's fun. I think it's fun to see these young kids get an opportunity, and and everybody wants to play in NHL. It's a dream, right? So go enjoy it.
As you guys have added more of these, what's been the challenge, and also how have you seen the team evolve, or what qualities does it maybe bring with some of these younger guys?
Yeah, I think challenges. You're a lot of young players that are learning to play in NHL. That's one, but you notice the pace of play and the speed in our lineup now. I think that it's obvious that even if we do make some mistakes, we have the speed to recover from those. And I think even our forecheck has been a lot better. Just the pace of play is noticeable.
What are you expecting from the Canadiens? With Demidov being their debut, they're in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
What are you expecting to see from them?
Urgency, right? I think they're right there. They got to get another point, I believe, or two. So they're going to come out. They're going to have a lot of urgency in their games. I think matching that energy is going to be crucial for us here.
For Vlasic, how would you evaluate his season, and what do you think he needs to take this next step with and going into the summer?
Yeah, I think there's been he's played a lot. He plays a lot of minutes for us. So I think that, I think there's ups and downs with that. As a young defenseman, he has to be, he has to take a lot of different roles as a young D-man, and he's grown in certain areas. There's certain areas that, obviously when you're playing a lot and you maybe get some fatigued and some mistakes set in, but overall I think it's been a good learning year for him.
Does it seem like maybe conditioning and just making sure his energy levels stay up? He mentioned that's something I feel like has been a challenge for him.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. He's a big boy too, right? And he carries, he's 6'6", so. But, I think it's something, I'm glad that, it's good self-evaluation about him. But there's times there where he played a lot because of he was on the power play and PK, and then that stretch maybe wore him out a little bit. But I think the last 5 games here, it seems like his energy has been back.
I was asking Oliver more about his offense, and he started off talking about defense and how that leans in the offense.
Wow,
good.
Is
that I know it shocked me too. Do you see that often from any player, but particularly a forward that young?
He's very he's smart. He asks a lot of good questions when you're doing video with him or a team video. He has a lot of thoughtful questions, and that's usually a good sign. But yeah, he's a smart kid.
There he is, Anders Sorensen. Nice gesture to get Crevier in Montreal, his hometown. Yeah. So that's cool. I know a lot of people are like, why isn't Korchinski playing? I'm among them. I'd like to see him. Yeah. Hopefully he plays the next game. But Louis Crevier plays in Montreal. So that's a good gesture from him. Here are the lines for tonight's game. Here's how the Hawks will line up against the Canadiens. Bedard centering Donato and Mikheyev. Nazar with Bertuzzi and Teravainen. Greene centers Foligno and Moore, and Veleno with Slaggert and Reichel. You got Vlasic, Renzel, Murphy, Crevier, Kaiser, and Levshunov with Arvid Soderblom in goal. And I'm seeing, the big story today, obviously, Demidov. A lot of people rooting for the failure of Ivan Demidov in our chat.
Yeah. I mean, everyone wants your players to succeed, and 31 teams, other players not to succeed. So I get it. And especially with the comparisons of Demidov and Levshunov and dating back to last year's draft and everything, I think there's a lot of people hoping that Demidov doesn't at least do something tonight. I think his career, he'll do a lot of things, but at least tonight, tone it down. How about nothing tonight, and you can do everything in your next game. That'll be totally fine. I totally get that, because I am of the thought of like, man, really hope he doesn't light it up tonight. That would be the
nightmare scenario.
Yeah,
for us.
That would be a rough go of it. But if he has a good game, I mean, that's going to be inevitable because he's a really good player. I would just like to see the Hawks be able, as Anders Sorensen said there, match the intensity. This is a Montreal team that has a ton to play for. They have their, opportunity to, lock up a playoff spot tonight. They've been on a hot streak the last month or so. And you have a hockey city like Montreal, fighting, to get into the playoffs and get that atmosphere. It's going to be a buzzing building tonight. So hopefully the Hawks can feed off that in a positive way and quiet that Bell Center early. That'd be nice.
The rookie lap has happened, and it's apparently very loud in Montreal for Ivan Demidov. And they have every right to be excited. They should be excited. Yeah. They got him at 5th. He came to the NHL sooner than anyone really thought he might. Good for them. And this is the biggest game they've played in years to clinch that playoff spot. And this is the sort of thing, Hawks fans, as we look, 2-3 years down the road, hopefully the Hawks will be in a position like this where they need a late game win to solidify that playoff spot after an up-and-coming, exciting season. Yeah, it's coming for everybody, in Montreal especially. The mecca of hockey. I know Toronto likes to claim it, but Montreal is the one with the banners. When Montreal is good, it's good for the league. I am not rooting for Demidov tonight because I don't want to deal with the idiotic post-game show of, fire Davidson because he had a goal and Levshunov didn't, and I guarantee you if that happens, it's coming. And conversely, if Artyom Levshunov goes off for 4 points and Demidov has 0, it also doesn't mean that all of a sudden the Hawks made the right pick undeniably.
Absolutely, it does.
I know we're in reaction land, but I'm just not just I hope it's a quiet game for Demidov just for tonight. But I want Montreal to do well. I want him to do well. I hope Montreal makes some noise this year in the playoffs because
it'd be fun.
You never know.
Yeah,
the East is kind of like.
Yeah, like you said, like when Montreal is good, it's good for the. I mean, really, when any of this original 6 teams are doing well, usually that means it's good for the league because those are markets that are. They invest a lot of money and eyeballs into hockey. So not that other markets don't, but of course it's like that's where those markets are built strongest. The league is still pushing that original 6 concept. So when those teams are in it and entertaining, that's best for the league. That's going to, generate more money and, all that stuff, league interest and all that. So, yeah, I mean, it'd be fun to see Montreal do something in the postseason. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure where they would match up. They're the second wild card, right?
So
they'd get Washington.
So. Yeah.
I think if memory serves me right, the last time the Canadiens and Capitals faced each other in the postseason, and the Canadiens, I believe, this is when they were the 1-8 system. I think that's when they beat Washington in 2010. I think it was 2010 because that Eastern Conference Final was the 7 and the 8 faced each other. It was Philly and Montreal, and Philly made the Cup final, and then we all know what happened from there. But that'd be interesting. Some historical connections there.
Yeah, I saw the Columbus. So they are the final wild card spot in Montreal. Yeah. They've got 88 points, which a win today would solidify things. Columbus is 3 points behind them with 2 games to go.
Columbus needs the Blackhawks to win in regulation.
Yes,
and they are pleading. They are as a news station in Columbus is pleading with Nick Foligno, former captain of the Blue Jackets, to at least stall Montreal's clinching of the last playoff spot, even just one more game, to give Columbus a hint of a chance as the season wraps up here. I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, this is ABC 6, and they're saying this for Central Ohio. Hey, Nick, Captain Foligno, sir. I know it's been a while, but we just want to reach out and say how much we truly appreciate you, and just wanted to remind you, for no reason other than we miss you, that you will forever be in our hearts. You gave us some of the best memories in the history of the franchise and always represented the CBJ with honor. We know it's been a while since we've been together, but we finally look back on those days with a tear in our eyes. Tonight, you have a chance to give this city another great moment, and more importantly, hope for one more day. We know Montreal is tough, but the pressure is all on them. We know you'll give it your all anyway because you always do. But just know there is some extra wind at your back from the East tonight. Good luck, Cap, and go Blackhawks.
I love that. That's great. I love that stuff. Yeah,
it's cute.
Yeah, I mean, we're at this point of the season. It's the final push to the postseason, and I love seeing and think about getting down to the last wild card and the expectations for Montreal and Columbus this year, and for both of them to be fighting for that. Like that's a little bit unexpected and a lot of fun to see. So yeah, I mean there's a lot of juice in this game. And on the Hawks side,
yeah, let's get to Ryan Greene.
Ryan Greene's going to bring some juice to this game. I'm predicting a Ryan Greene first NHL point tonight.
I like it. It's interesting because Scott Powers, I think, was the one who wrote that they think he's just penciled in for next year.
That was
they have him in a roster spot already.
That was an interesting note, yeah, from Scott yesterday when he signed. Is basically the Hawks don't expect him to need to go to Rockford. So anything could happen, obviously, but that is interesting. So.
Yeah. Well, let's hear from him. He spoke after the morning skate today, and he is definitely excited to play. He'll wear number 20 for the Blackhawks in his NHL debut tonight.
Opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's happened fast, obviously. Drove down here yesterday, but no, I'm really excited that, I'm getting an opportunity to play in the lineup, and obviously just going to try to make the best of it.
What was the whirlwind like going from the game to this? And I'm sure this process, you got to move on quickly, but I guess, what was that like?
Yeah, just like a lot of emotions, obviously. Tough loss there on Saturday, but, had to sleep that one off and then get up pretty early on Sunday morning and drive down here. So, yeah, it's a lot of emotions for sure. It happened really quick, but I'm just excited to be here.
Was this contract something that you expected to come at this time?
Yeah, I would say so. You know, it was more so whenever our season ended, I was probably going to, come join the team. So obviously left it till the last game there, which was a good thing. But, yeah, just signed it right after and then came the next day.
How would you describe your game, and where do you think you've made strides recently?
Yeah, I think I've just been able to round out my game the last, 3 years at BU. I see myself as like 200-foot player who is responsible and, can be relied on in a lot of situations. So that's just, something I'm trying to bring here.
How early did you have to get up to drive yesterday?
Like 6 a.m. It's a pretty early one, yeah.
How long did it take you to drive?
It was only like 4 hours, a little over 4 hours, so it wasn't too bad. Just slept most of the ride.
I'm sure you were up late the night before, too.
Yeah, pretty late. Spending the last night with the boys, so yeah, had to enjoy it a little bit.
Did you grow up a Canadiens fan, or who were you?
No, like, honestly, I was like a Flyers fan growing up, just because like a couple of my uncles are Flyers fans, so they kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. But I would probably say more so Leafs than Montreal. But yeah, definitely not a Montreal fan, no.
What do you think it'll be like to make your debut in this kind of atmosphere? They're punching scenarios and everything on the line.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be loud in here. I'm sure the Strike's pretty unbelievable when it's packed and going. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to try to enjoy it, soak it all in, and yeah, it should be fun.
I probably asked you this before. How did you pick number 20?
I honestly didn't pick number 20. I was just given number 20. I don't mind it. It's a pretty cool number, so I'll take it.
And then, just the atmosphere of being at the NHL level. What are some of the emotions, any nerves, just the whole range of what you're going through?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Like, obviously, it's really nerve-wracking. Like, it's highly anticipated. You've been dreaming of it your whole life, and the fact that it's here, it's pretty nerve-wracking. But it's also just really exciting. Like, even just being in the locker room with a lot of these guys is just, like, so cool. And, yeah, I'm just honored to be here and to be a part of it.
How unique is how young this team is right now, too? And a lot of guys you spent with time at development camp, or I guess some prospects that turn pro this year.
Yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, the vibes are really good in here. It's a really young group. So, like you said, I've known some of the guys now from just meeting them and playing with them at development camp. So that made the transition a little bit easier for me. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. The energy's great, and yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Who have you heard from, either phone calls or texts, in terms of congratulations?
Just like a lot of my teammates, a lot of former teammates, family, things like that. But yeah, just reaching out and congratulating me. So I'm thankful for all the support from everyone.
There's Ryan Greene making his debut tonight. He mentioned a young team, 13 players, 25 or younger, in the lineup tonight. Add Spencer Knight as the backup. That's 14. Kevin Korchinski watching from the press box. That's 15. You want to count Colton Dock, who's hurt, working his way back, maybe. That's 16 players, 25 or younger on the NHL roster.
That is, that's a change. That's a shift from where we started. That's a big change. And that's what we all wanted as this season has gone on, and it's what we've got. And had one of the youngest defensive starting groups maybe ever in the NHL a few games ago. Like, there's definitely been a shift and a focus on the young players, and I'm all for it. I'm games like this, moments like this, Ryan Greene getting his debut, Aiden Thompson also signing, and he went down to Rockford. It gives you a little bit of that energy going towards next season, knowing that all these guys that we've been thinking about and talking about, this wave of Kyle Davidson's first prospect class getting to the pro level and making impacts, it's very exciting. So yeah, as Greene said, the vibes are good in that room, so keep that up. Well, before young kids, the youths keep building that culture. Youths.
Sarah would be one of the oldest Blackhawks. How does that make you feel?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because 6 under 25.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I am old.
You'd be a veteran.
Crusty old vet, Sarah. All right, before we get to Mario's scouting report on Ryan Greene, you need to hit the like button. Only 65 likes. We have over 230 people watching. Please hit that like button for us. It takes you half a second. And while you're there, take another half second to hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get to 100 before the show ends here. But Mario, the author of the Rebuild Report at ALLCITY.com, what can we expect from Ryan Greene tonight?
Ryan Greene, like I said before, like I feel like he's one of the guys that's kind of like gone under the radar because he's not this like big, flashy point producer guy. He's not going to put up 70 goals like Nick Lardis or anything like that, but he's very consistent in game-to-game efforts. 3 seasons at BU. He was a captain this last year, co-captain. So like one of those guys that, as a lot of these prospects that Kyle Davidson has brought in have been in leadership positions amongst their peers. Like that's a plus on the intangible side. His hockey IQ is noted, more of a two-way, 200-foot kind of center rather than a offense-only kind of guy. Not the smallest, not the biggest, about 6 foot, 190 pounds, like a solid player for sure, physically. And he's not going to be overly physical in his game, but he is, again, one of these faster players, high energy players, these guys that wear you down with their speed and on the forechecking and the defensive side. Like, look at this mold of player that Kyle Davidson has brought in with guys like Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore. I know Leonard Slaggert was here already, but a lot of time and opportunities to be given to him. Ryan Greene's going to be in that mix as well, of like one of those guys that like you imagine is just going to be a solid, reliable, probably play on the penalty kill down the road, be one of those guys that can also chip in scoring. He had 38 points in 40 games this year with Boston. Again, like he's not going to be a huge point producer, but somebody that probably is going to pot a few goals, make a few plays that you don't expect at the NHL level that come up in big moments. So very excited for him.
Yeah, another piece of this middle six. And as you project 3-4 years out, someone in the chat said, isn't Montreal still in a rebuild? I mean, it's nice that they're in a playoff spot. It was for Matthew. They're at the end of their rebuild. They're probably 2 years, would you say, fair? 3 years ahead of the Blackhawks?
Yeah, they're for sure.
Rebuild?
They're ahead. I mean, they had the first overall pick a few years ago with Yuri Slafkovsky. They got a great player in Cole Caulfield. You look at Nick Suzuki is still a young guy on that team. You got Demidov now. There's a lot of young players that are jumping in and making big impacts for that team, which is a lot of fun to watch. Good for Montreal, and it's somewhat of a blueprint of what the Blackhawks can follow and look at, and they're also supplanted by some impactful veterans, guys that aren't just going to be placeholders. They're actually guys that will bring a little bit more to the table. It's more than like no offense, but it's a little bit more than having like Pat Maroon and Nick Foligno.
Sure.
It's Brendan Gallagher is a guy that's been an impact player for Montreal for a number of years. They're solid, a solid team that's now getting a lot of those young guys into their prime years, and it's come together. They're making a run.
And maybe Demidov is that final piece, right? Like
Could be, yeah.
As we've talked about how the Hawks are adding Bedard on the front end, the Canadiens are adding Demidov on the back end. So he's coming into a situation where it's already 25-year-old captain Nick Suzuki in his prime, and all the guys you mentioned, they add Demidov.
Mm-hmm.
It's going the other way for the Hawks, where they have got Bedard and now they're adding behind him. So
right, yeah,
it's going to be a little different, but at least you've got that piece, and you just hope the other guys can catch up. And so far, so good.
Yeah.
They've done a really solid job so far. We're almost at 100 likes. We're at 88 likes. We need some more likes, but we're going to tell you something else that you're going to like too. We have a massive Die Hard sale going on right now. If you're not a Die Hard, now is the time. $36 for the whole year. It is live right now. You can jump in to celebrate the Bears' upcoming draft. Become a Die Hard. Why? You're still going to get the shirt, which is basically a $30 value.
Yeah.
You get that. You get 20% off all of our events, takeovers, watch parties. We've got 2 golf outings coming up this summer. So much great stuff on the horizon. The Bears have a draft party at 115 Bourbon Street, presented by our friends at Circus Sports. So many reasons to become a diehard right now, and you get access to our great written content.
Yeah.
I put up my Blackhawks beat today. I mentioned Mario's rebuild report. all kinds of stuff coming out, and access to our Diehards Only Discord, which gives you priority on Mailbag Monday. And in the off season, we do Mailbag Monday every Monday. So that priority is a good way to guarantee that your question gets read. So become a diehard today, allchgo.com. I know we have a pair of super chats we got to get to before we wrap things up as well. Our buddy Windy City Hockey, $2 says, congratulations to Corey Crawford on joining the QMJHL Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
That's the big debate everyone's been having is Corey Crawford a Hall of Famer in the Q? No, yeah, I mean, I think that came down just about an hour ago, and the league, the Q posted the video of it, and you can just see the wave of emotions that kind of overtakes Corey in the moment, and just again, like a really awesome honor for him. We're all very familiar with his contributions to the Blackhawks, but I mean, he was a second-round pick back in 2003. I want to say 2003, 2002. Like, it was a long time ago.
Mario was like 3 years old.
Yeah, I was 12. But I mean, he was a solid goaltender back in that time frame for not Drummond.
2003 draft.
Oh man, who did he play?
He was with Montkin
Wildcats. Yep. I mean, yeah, it's just another great honor for Crawford. He was put into the Ring of Honor for the Ice Hogs. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of honor for him with the Blackhawks as well, whether it's a jersey thing or if they create their own Blackhawks Hall of Fame or Ring of Honor or something like that.
Next year would be a good time for it.
Yeah, the Centennial season, there seems like there's going to be a lot of honors tossed out next year. Would be really cool to see Crawford get something like that with the Hawks. But yeah, I mean, he's just, we talked with him, was that last year in December?
Yeah.
Seems like he's enjoying his retirement, and took a while to get there, but really great to see that for him. And yeah, the more he's around the organization, the better.
100%. And $2 from Michael Evans says, will there be another diehard playoff challenge? Yeah, we did this last year, and I always forget how we do these things. I think we had a code.
You can make a private league that we can
link to in the Discord.
You can send to people's emails. Yeah, I mean, if it's through the Discord,
let's do it that way.
You would put the link in the Discord, and then no one else send it to anybody else. Keep it diehard only.
Yeah.
But
increases your chances of winning.
We'd be able to do that. I think the NHL does their own bracket challenge. I think that's how we've done.
That's how we do it. Yeah. So we'll throw that in a Discord with the code. We'll get that set up soon. And why don't we say we'll spot people on well, no, they're already diehards. What can we do for them?
Free shirt or hat.
Love it. Free shirt or hat, courtesy of us. Whoever wins. All right. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. All right.
Can't pick the Hawks, so who are you going to take?
Actually, it's funny. I know we'll do our playoff preview soon, but I was talking to my cousin who always asks me for gambling advice for some reason. He's like, who do you like in the East? And I'm kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's
can
open.
Florida go 3 years in a row?
Maybe. They're going to...
Can't win with Seth Jones, I've been told.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. Like, Tampa is always... I feel like people take Tampa for granted because they've been good so long that they're not really a sexy pick anymore.
But it's still hard to count them out.
And Toronto...
Yeah,
they're still super talented.
What do you believe in Toronto?
At some point, it has to happen, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's...
Be interesting.
Yeah.
And then you got Washington. I don't know. I have to see.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
With no record to chase now.
Are they checked out?
Well, yeah. What's their now? What is their motivation as they hit the playoffs?
I don't know. It's hard for me to pick the Caps. They've been great all year. Just like it's hard for me to pick the Jets.
Right. Well, President's Trophy curse.
Yeah, last team to win it.
Kind of screwed there.
Blackhawks.
So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Winnipeg.
All right, we're going to be here for the post-game show. As always, make sure you join us. We'll be here as soon as the game ends. Well, a few minutes after the game ends. And we'll wrap up Levshunov versus Demidov, Episode 1.
Part 1 of
A New Hope.
Many.
Yes, should be fun. Talk to you post-game right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.